this young man has this propensity of becoming this. And I began to sit him down and say, for the sake of this and this, first and foremost your life, because of this, because of that, I don't think this is the right way for you to go. I might be thinking what we want to do out of the several. But just like a bundle of money is not complete if one of it is taken out. If we can all begin to accept that responsibility and begin to really get involved, gradually we might be on our way out. But I think there is this apathy that is on most of us in this part of the country. It doesn't concern me. It's not my brother, it's not my sister, it's not my state, it's not, sorry?
It's not my business.
It's not my business. But what we don't know is that, God forbid, if some of these things really escalate, then it becomes our business at the end of the day. It starts from all of us taking responsibility and doing the bit we can do without necessarily exonerating ourselves and putting ourselves in our walled houses and thinking that whatever will happen to them, let it happen to them. That attitude needs to change.
Does that apply to electoral process or everything in general, that attitude? Because there's this thing out there in public space, everywhere, as in, general apathy. I mean, it doesn't concern me. Am I earning my keep? Am I able to take care of my needs? Am I able to take care of my family?
And that's all.
Every other thing
my
can go.
little corner is cool.
My little corner is cool, so that's it for me.
I think while we can't do everything together at once, maybe at every opportunity we have. Some time ago, I was somewhere. I was wondering, what was this woman's business? But today now I understand. What was it that happened? A lady took yogurt. And immediately she finished, she just threw the, what is it called? The pack. Just threw it on the floor. And this woman was in her car. She parked and walked up back to her. We were actually together in the car. Pastor Bumi Bini Jesu. And then
pick it up.
He said, honey, that was the way she started. He said, honey, can you please pick this up? The lady was embarrassed, but I think she learned the lesson of her life. Now, she has contributed something to the nation as far as I'm concerned. If all of us begins to take some simple steps like that, the whole thing working together at the end of the day will begin to take us from where we have to probably where we need to be.
And that's what I said earlier, voter education, because it's no matter how little it is, to start somewhere, I met some group of people, young people, and who were eligible to vote, and I was like, do you have your PVCs? And surprisingly, none. So I started telling them the reason why they should go get their PVCs, and I think I was able to convince about 2 or 3. Why they should get their PVCs. So we should start from there.
So if we do that also,
one of the questions they asked me was, sorry. One of the questions they asked was, after all, my vote will not count. So why would I go get my PVCs? So I started talking and trying to explain to them, and that's one of the causes too of electoral violence, because people believe that if my vote would not count, why would you want me to vote? And then when I vote and you don't, take into recognition my vote, then I go all out there to cause mayhem.
We have discussed voter education on this program several times, and the conclusion, the bottom line, was that not a lot of people are interested in, educating the electorate, not the political parties, not INEC, not the orientation agency. The government, probably INEC, will do a little bit here and there, little advert on radio or TV here and there. But since you say that it's important and is relevant to what we're talking about, who do you think should be doing the educating?
I think all of us. That would just be my answer. And that was what I just said earlier. Now, he spoke to a group of young people. At the end of the day, 2 or 3 of them began to see, so I actually have a role to play. These people that cause violence, yes, some of them are really hardened, permit the use of my word, have become really hardened in their heart. But at the end of the day, they still live in communities. They are not living in the sky.
True.
If we get interested in their lives and we begin to gradually find a way to speak their language and operate at their level, one after the other, it might be a sequence forward.
Benson, what are your thoughts about that?
Can I say something very briefly?
Yes.
With regards electoral violence. One of the problems why we have electoral violence is because of electoral malpractices. And I'm looking at the youth of Nigeria. I'm looking at the way they come together to for Big Brother Nigeria, the way they've come together to make sure that Big Brother Nigeria was streamed from their phones so that their friends can watch Big Brother Nigeria. And when it comes to things that actually affect their future, decision-making processes like elections, and the youth are not coming out to say, okay, let's stream poll by poll the happenings of the electoral processes so that we can actually see vividly what's happening. And that way there won't be any cost, there won't be any risk of malpractices. And so I'm saying to the youth, they need to get involved with the electoral processes because it does affect our future. It does affect the future of people unborn. You know, the youth really needs to they need to get involved in this. It affects all of us. It affects the decisions of our lives, and it affects the economy. It affects how we live our life, our living standards. I can't imagine why we as young people are more interested in what happens in Big Brother House than the electoral processes.
Thank you. Point noted.
Indeed, really noted.
They're more interested in Big Brother than what happens in their country. And then they'll complain that they have no light, they have no road, they have no water.
Indeed. Nigerians seem to spend a lot of time on all these programs. Big Brother, The Voice, Project Fame. We rush to go, I use we, because we're all Nigerians. We rush to go and watch. We rush to follow them. We love to vote. But when it comes to the electoral process, we're just that, you know that thing I talk about, apathy? It doesn't concern me.
Maybe if the voting process were made easier, maybe we would. If we could just sit in our homes and use our phones to vote.
Or if we're sure that the vote will count. Is that what's causing this apathy?
Well, I think, like I said, I mean, I keep saying that, you know, I think they're not educated enough to know the benefits of, you know, for example, I took time. You know, it took me about 45 minutes to explain to this group of young people I met, you know, why you should go get your PVC. So it takes time. So you need to continue talking, be on their faces, on the social media, everywhere you have the youth. So you need to, you know, bring it to them constantly. And then who has the big muscle to do this? The government. They won't do it.
So civic studies have been reintroduced into schools. Do you think that those are going to help?
Well, I don't know what the exact curriculum is for that. But if they have political education, then that'll be fantastic because it starts from there. Because, like you said, this generation.
Well, I think that the basic thing about civics is that you learn
your responsibility to your nation,
civic duties to your country and your country's duties.
In fact, even some
I think
schools,
that is the basis.
Even some schools conduct. I mean, at primary school level, conduct elections free and fair. Like teach them how to contest. Come out and say what your manifesto is, and then people will vote for you. Primary schools, I mean, it teach. I mean, from that young age, you learn to, you know, win or lose, and then you know that you is not a do or die affair.
Well, that's awareness. We're starting from somewhere.
But those, like you said, those of them who have, you know, left school and then on their own, who are working and involved in this violence, what do you do? I think that's a question.
What do you do? Mr. Bamdele, 10 seconds.
Well, it still comes back to all of us accepting responsibility, because the part of the body is a system. If a part of it is dysfunctional, it affects the entire body. If we approach the matter from that perspective, then it won't be it is their matter. Let them find solution to it. And then I take responsibility for my immediate environment. Speak to one young man, 2 young men, 3 young men. You do the same. Gradually, the cumulative effect of all of this individual effort. And then I also think our institutions have a lot of role to play.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ugo Tuonye, a legal practitioner, Abiodun Bamdele, human capital development expert, and Benson Onyekachi, who is a leadership coach. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having us.
Sunrise will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.